Tonight's community conversation focuses on a very important topic, a very important theme in all of our lives. A theme which is ever evolving, a theme which is complicated, a theme which includes its struggles, and that is the relationship that we have with Shabbos. With the Sabbath, do we count down to when Shabbos starts, to when Shabbos begins, or are we counting down to when Shabbos ends? My immediate left, Dr. Stephen Lemberg, who is a member of Rabbi BRJE's Friday Night Live, a member of our community, and who is perhaps more new to Shabbos, and I think brings a great, exciting perspective, which we're looking forward to hearing.
My name is Stephen Lemberg, and for me, Shabbos is a sanctuary and a refuge, and it's also a reawakening of my childhood Judaism, because I lost connection with Judaism for many, many years due to some insensitive people in my past. When I went to a temple one time, on Yom Kippur, I was turned away because I didn't have tickets. My friend and I. So we were bar mitzvah boys, we were at the peak of loving our religion, we were into it, and these people said, you have to go home. And we said, but we want to worship, we're Jewish. And they said, no, you don't have tickets, so you have to leave. So we got so turned off to it, and it lasted many years, unfortunately. So for me, and I'll speak more later about how I came back to it, now it's become an incredible refuge. And during the week, when things are stressing me out as a physician, as a man in general, father, son, etc., I'm looking forward to Shabbos, and when it comes, all the problems that I want to share with Rabbi BRJE and unload, when he asks me, he says, so how are you? I go, I'm great. And I actually am, because once Shabbos has arrived, the problems have now shrunk to nothing.
Our panelists, what makes this conversation meaningful. The next question, perhaps, is really the opposite extreme, and I think it gets to the heart of the matter of what we want to talk about tonight, and that is to ask you to consider, what do you like least about Shabbos? What is the biggest challenge in observing Shabbos in this century, in this time, in the modern era? What do you like least about it?
I don't like, there's nothing I like least about Shabbos. I'm a big fan of Shabbos right now. For many years I wasn't, so now I see nothing but the good, and I'm honored to be here as I do now. Very accepted, even though I'm not Orthodox, and I admire all of you who can practice this. So what I like least about Shabbos is the fact that it's so hard for me to be as observant as many of you are.
How do we successfully communicate not only the laws of Shabbos, the spirit of Shabbos? How do we experience ourselves the spirit of Shabbos and not get...
For me, because I'm experiencing Shabbos in a very natural fashion, and I have not yet embraced all the laws because I wasn't brought up that way, and I don't even know what they are. I'm able to experience Shabbos in a very, again, childlike, innocent way. And for me, it's very natural. After a hard week of material involvement, thinking and dealing with suffering and the material world, I have to have a Shabbos. When it comes, I have to have that. I know that it's a totally different day for me. And I know ultimately I should be doing more of some of the practices, because they would just enhance my enjoyment, and then I'm totally distracted. And I know on Saturday, I'm reminding myself, and it's a very easy reminder, to reconnect with God and to be grateful. So I'm always singing the little songs that we learn in Friday Night Live. Sometimes in my sleep I sing them. And I am saying Tov Lahodos Hashem all the time. At the same time, I'm not practicing all the laws, and I do feel a little guilt because I am Jewish after all. I'm allowed to have guilt. But most of all, I feel it's a wonderful day, it's a great day, and my family honors it and respects the fact that it's a special day. So hopefully in the future I'll do a little more and really learn about the laws and ease myself into it more.
Stephen, you shouldn't feel guilty at all. It's remarkable what you've done with family, and it's a real honor having you on this panel and hearing your perspective certainly contributing a lot of inspiration. So don't feel guilty. Just make sure you pay for your ticket for the And what we wear has an impact on how we feel, so perhaps the superficial is important. So both as adults and vis-a-vis our children, how important is the superficial in terms of... Best dressed panelist tonight.
Ironically, when I came here tonight, I was looking for a white shirt, and I tried a couple on, and they didn't fit anymore. Too many. And I said, oh, my fiance Gina, who is responsible for me being here via Leslie and Sal, she introduced me to Leslie and Sal, who invited us to Yom Kippur last year. I met Rabbi Brody. That's a whole other story, because well, let's get back to Shabbos clothes. I never had Shabbos clothes. I never knew about them. But now with the kind of a beginner mind that I have now, a new mind, I see that you wear a white shirt because it's purity. It's cleanliness. You carefully pick your best clothes because you're going to worship in front of God. So it's not a problem. It's not an ordeal. It's appropriate dress for what you're about to do. It's a change of clothing for a change in attitude. That's how I view it, because I've never been constrained by all the rules. So I understand, again, the Orthodox people, all of you who observe, I'm amazed at how tough it must be. Because I know for myself, my father and I, during Yom Kippur, many years ago, used to eat while my poor sisters and mother were very observant, fasting, suffering. My father and I would be sitting there eating in front of the television. That's how we were brought up. He was, not observant. So the clothing, I think, is a great reminder of, okay, we're now going to change from ordinary week to a special day.
Tell us about Rabbi Brody, how you met Rabbi Brody. Finish that story.
Okay, Rabbi Brody, again, Gina would always get me to celebrate the holidays with my mother. We would do a little Seder in her little apartment, and I would improvise. I didn't know how to do a Seder, but I'd read some prayers, and my mother would say, okay, that's enough praying, let's eat. But my mother was actually my first spiritual teacher. When she prayed on Shabbos, as a little boy, I can remember it like it was yesterday, and I might have been 4 years old. She prayed with such fervor, such intensity, I was scared. I said, what is she doing there? And I heard her murmuring in Yiddish, Hebrew, whatever, Yiddish, because that's what she was doing. But her intensity was amazing to me, and I said, wow, this is something incredibly special and almost fearsome. So I lost that because of that gatekeeper at the synagogue who turned me away. But then I came back gradually, and at this Yom Kippur ceremony, I met Rabbi Brody, and I said, wait a second, Yom Kippur, from what I remember, was beyond somber. It was downright depressing. I said, this is a depressing holiday. I always feel bad on Yom Kippur. I feel it's miserable. And the rabbis I knew were very somber, long-faced, serious people, instilling the fear of God and guilt and all kinds of things and rules, and I couldn't respond to it. Suddenly I see Rabbi Brody there. I go, who is that? That's the rabbi? Can't be. That can't be the rabbi. It's impossible. He's smiling. He's happy. I said, I never saw a happy, smiling rabbi in my life, in my experience. I said, not only that, it's Yom Kippur and he's smiling. This is interesting. Let's see what happens. Well, afterwards, the whole ceremony, the whole beginner ceremony for people who were non-affiliated was so moving, so deep and amazing that I was moved to tears right after the ceremony. And I went up to Rabbi Brody and thanked him. And I felt like, okay, I can deal with this now. If rabbis are like that, I can come back to the temple and maybe learn a little more and reconnect. And then I went home and I looked at his record, and I don't know if all of you know this, but he has training in special education. And that's when I started crying to Gina. I said, do you know what special ed teachers are? Do you know what kind of people they are? They're the most patient, compassionate people in the world. So I was incredibly moved, And then I came back. I met Rabbi Goldberg, who was incredibly warm and inviting, even though he's in charge of an Orthodox synagogue.
He smiled too.
He smiled too. He smiles too. And here I am. I'm back, and I'm making little progress, little at a time. But mostly, I'm just trying to be a Jewish man in spirit. I don't have the laws. I don't practice it the way Orthodox people do, but I know I'm Jewish. I'm clearly Jewish, always have been, even when I went away for a while, or thought I did. During that time that I went away, I actually was a meditator, and I met a very compassionate person who was teaching me to be peaceful and compassionate. He says, compassion first, before everything. And one day I said, no, my religion, I don't know about it. He said, what about it? I said, I don't know, I don't get any comfort from it. And I started to disparage Judaism a little bit, and he cut me off quickly. He said, sir, you are completely wrong. You are totally mistaken. Your religion is one of the most beautiful religions on earth, filled with wisdom. You better go back and look at your Torah.
Wow.
Okay. The meditator is telling me to look at the Torah. And I did, and again, it's all part of this unusual journey.
You know, Rabbi Brody's mom is here tonight, so you don't know how happy you're making her. And all of us, you know, particularly in the summertime, Shabbos afternoon can be long. Shabbos lunch can end, let's say, 1, 2 o'clock, and Shabbos doesn't end until 8, 9 o'clock. You have a long afternoon. What's an appropriate way to spend the evening?
Going slowly, and for me, to make sure that on Shabbos that I at least restrain myself. I've started a few new rituals. I don't open the mail. For many years, I would open the mail on Saturday and look at the bills and things like that. But I discipline myself now. I will not touch the mail. I won't write bills. I won't do any of that stuff. My family is also doing the same thing. Just slowing down and reflecting, taking it slow, relaxing. And that's more of what I've been doing lately. Just trying not to get, using the background I've had to relax, meditate, reflect, but mostly I've been doing a lot of gratefulness thinking, because it's during the week I'm so busy I don't get a chance to think of how grateful I am for everything, the 1,000 things that I have to be grateful for. So that's my, and it takes me a long time to go through the whole list of what I'm grateful for. And the only person I'll visit on Shabbos will be my mother, she's 84 years old. Today I visited her. I had to, we moved her. And I told the rabbi, I said, Rabbi Brody, yes, I'll be happy to come Saturday night, but I'll be moving my mother during the day Saturday. And then when I went home, I said, oops. Oops, not supposed to do that, Steve. But it's okay, as Rabbi Goldberg told me just now. So, again, I'm going to go at that slow pace, but again, my heart is there. That's the most important thing. It's always been that way. It doesn't matter. Thinking and thinking, we all think way too much. So my purpose on Saturday is to stop the thinking so much and just be with myself and be with Hashem.